fan, if you watch this matchup, you know exactly how wild the emotional swing was. Philadelphia walked into this game carrying an absurd amount of energy, that feeling that the whole day was about to be dominated by the green side. And right from the opening snaps, it genuinely looked like that was going to happen because they came out steamrolling. The team jumped to a 21-point lead as if they were running a high-intensity practice drill, making everything look natural, throwing in rhythm, running with purpose, applying pressure, making quick and sharp decisions. Jalen Hurts looked like he was having one of those days where nothing can touch him. His connection with A.J. Brown lit up again, and the defense capitalized on every early mistake the opponent made, turning each slip into points on the scoreboard. But this sport has a brutal ability to flip a game upside down in the blink of an eye. After that 21st point, the team simply collapsed. The rhythm vanished. The precision evaporated, and the confidence that felt unbreakable at the start suddenly turned into hesitation. From that moment on, the opponent exploded exactly the way they had hoped, taking advantage of every bit of space, every opening in coverage, and every mental lapse. They poured in 24 unanswered points, a stretch that hurts any fan who saw those flawless opening minutes. And it stings even more knowing this is one of the biggest collapses the team has suffered in decades. This is the kind of game that leaves everyone irritated, impatient, trying to understand how things spiraled so quickly. And even though fans love firing shots at rivals, this time there was no way to ignore what the opposing team did. They seized the momentum, piled up nearly 500 yards, attacked deep whenever the coverage loosened, and adjusted just enough to completely dismantle the shift in pace from Philadelphia. On the other side, it felt like nobody could regain focus. When one detail went wrong, another followed right behind it, and the small mistakes turned into a domino effect. What really bothers people is knowing that before halftime, everything was working. The defense snagged an interception on the 1-yard line. The secondary was reacting well, the pressure was landing, and the offense was moving the ball with ease. The first drive of the game was a clear preview of what the afternoon could have been: a defensive stop at midfield, a quick march to the end zone, and A.J. Brown stacking a big share of the yardage with well-timed routes. Right after that came another mistake by the opponent on special teams, another smooth drive, and another touchdown. Everything felt natural, fluid, almost automatic. But after that stretch, the game turned into complete chaos. The opponent found open lanes deep down the field, stretched the game with long passes, and forced the defense to chase speed and explosiveness. Missing key pieces in the secondary started to show more and more on each snap. There was even a play where a Philadelphia defender was seconds away from changing everything with a simple interception, but the ball slipped right through his hands. On the very next sequence, the other side marched almost the entire field on a chain of accurate throws and capped off a near 90-yard drive. That emotional shift drained the offense. The team stopped scoring completely. They went through 5 straight drives without adding a single point, something unimaginable after such a dominant start. Halftime came, the third quarter began, and the offense was still stuck, stiff, slow, misreading, committing penalties, killing well-designed plays on the smallest fundamentals. Whenever they finally found an aggressive rhythm, an unnecessary flag appeared to shove them backward and tear the plan apart. The whole unit began playing with urgency, but zero structure, trying to find their flow again and failing every time. And it's not like they didn't have chances to close the game late. They had a recovered fumble, a botched punt returned by the opponent, and short fields handed to them during the most critical moments. Still, nothing connected. One of the most important drives ended with a missed field goal. Another collapsed because of a penalty that erased a crucial reception. And to make everything worse, 2 turnovers in the final quarter sealed the fate of the game. Every mistake felt multiplied, and the opponent punished each one. What frustrates fans the most is that the offensive numbers don't show a quarterback who disappeared. Jalen Hurts distributed the ball well, found his main playmakers, stacked passing yards, and still got the ball into the end zone 3 times. A.J. Brown passed the century mark. Devonta Smith nearly hit 90. The offense was capable of producing. But every time the team found momentum, a yellow flag appeared. 14 penalties, nearly 100 yards handed away for free, many of them at the worst possible moments. Procedure issues, illegal hands, alignment mistakes, everything that should be cleaned up during a week of practice turned into a complete nightmare during the game. And penalties like that change everything. Instead of a short second down, it becomes a long one. Instead of sitting on the doorstep of the end zone, the offense suddenly finds itself 20 yards back. Instead of keeping emotional control, the team begins to panic. There was one moment that summed it all up. A beautiful deep connection left Philadelphia at the 12-yard line with a real chance to stretch the lead. But a totally avoidable infraction wiped it out, pushed the team almost back to midfield, and opened the door to the drive that ended with a missed kick. As the offense kept sinking, the defense had to carry the weight. But you cannot expect the defense to save the day every single week, especially against an aggressive, fast, explosive unit that stretches the field horizontally and vertically. Philadelphia had already bailed out the offense several times this season. This time, it was simply too much to ask them to hold on again while the offense went more than 40 minutes without scoring a single point. The frustration grows even more when you look at how the offensive line struggled. The interior could not open running lanes, and carries that should have produced solid gains were swallowed at the line of scrimmage. Interior blocks broke down constantly, forcing Saquon Barkley to create everything out of nothing on nearly every touch. Against powerful and explosive defenders, the protection cracked, giving up pressure in critical moments and stacking mistakes that have shown up week after week. All of this combined creates a scenario that leaves any fan scratching their head, wondering how a game that started so dominantly could unravel so completely. After opening up a 3-possession lead, after forcing turnovers early, after watching the opponent look completely out of sync, it felt inevitable that the team would control the rest of the afternoon. But what happened was the exact opposite. The team relaxed, took their foot off the gas, lost its rhythm, and let the game turn into a nightmare. And this loss doesn't just hurt because of what happened on the field. It hurts in the standings, it hurts in the race for playoff position, it hurts the team's morale, and it shakes the confidence of the locker room. It makes the next stretch of the season far more complicated. The next opponent comes in motivated and with a style that targets the exact areas Philadelphia struggled with the most. If the team does not fix these issues, execution, discipline, aggressiveness, things could slide into a difficult spiral. And when you look deeper into how this collapse unfolded, it becomes clear that the problems run far beyond a single bad day. There's a pattern forming, a pattern that keeps showing up in moments when the team most needs composure. It is not just about missed tackles, blown coverages, or a route that takes too long to develop. It is about the team losing its sense of control when things stop going according to the script. Once the momentum swings, Philadelphia has been struggling to stop the avalanche, and this game showcased that issue in its most painful form. The offense, which had opened the game with confidence and timing, began to second-guess itself. Routes that were sharp in the first quarter suddenly looked hesitant. The rhythm in the pocket evaporated as protection broke down. Even on clean pockets, the timing between quarterback and receivers did not feel as crisp, and the play calling shifted from aggressive to overly cautious, as if the team was trying to protect a lead instead of expanding it. That change in mindset often becomes the hinge where games turn, and here it played a massive role. When you stop attacking and start thinking about what you might lose, the opponent senses it instantly. It was visible on the field. The opponent played with freedom, with urgency, with that sense of nothing to lose. Their quarterback fired without hesitation, trusting his receivers to win contested catches. Their play designer dialed up deep shots repeatedly, testing a secondary that was running out of bodies, running out of legs, running out of communication. And as those big plays connected, the entire tone of the game shifted. The crowd felt it. The players felt it. Even viewers at home could tell the momentum had switched sides completely. Meanwhile, Philadelphia looked like it was waiting for someone else to make the play that would break the slump. A big return, a defensive touchdown, a miracle scramble, anything. But that kind of waiting is dangerous. Teams that wait instead of creating their own spark often fall deeper into the trap. Each possession became heavier. Each mistake carried more weight, and the team's body language told the entire story. Instead of playing loose like they did in the opening minutes, they were tense, tight, and reactive. Another issue that kept snowballing was the lack of consistency in the trenches. Philadelphia has always been built on controlling the line of scrimmage, imposing physicality, and dictating the pace of the game. In this matchup, that identity vanished. The interior offensive line was overwhelmed snap after snap. Even short yardage situations felt impossible because the push simply was not there. When you cannot run the ball with confidence, your play action becomes less effective, your passing cues slow down, and the defense can tee off without fear of being punished on the ground. The defensive line, usually a strength, also hit a wall in the second half. Early on, they were collapsing pockets and forcing mistakes. But as the game stretched on, the opponent's tempo neutralized the front. Quick releases, rollouts, and misdirection forced the line to chase laterally and defend long-developing routes. Missing key rotation pieces made the fatigue even more obvious. Eventually, the pass rush disappeared, giving the opposing quarterback all the time he needed to pick apart a secondary held together with tape and patches. This created a ripple effect. With no pressure up front, the secondary had to hold its coverage longer. With the secondary struggling, the linebackers were forced to drop deeper into zones, leaving running lanes open. As those lanes opened, the opponent mixed in draws, screens, and misdirection plays that kept the defense guessing. Every adjustment Philadelphia attempted opened another hole somewhere else. It was like trying to plug leaks in a boat with bare hands. But the most frustrating moments came when the team actually had chances to regain control. Turnovers created opportunities. Defensive stands provided momentum swings. Special teams miscues by the opponent handed the offense prime field position. Yet every one of those moments ended the same way, with the team hurting itself. Maybe it was a penalty that erased a huge play. Maybe it was a drop ball. Maybe it was a blown block. Sometimes it was a rushed read or a missed assignment. But the result was always identical. A wasted opportunity that kept the door wide open for the opponent. As the fourth quarter arrived, the tension on the sideline was obvious. Coaches were frustrated. Players were pressing. The energy that once felt electric turned into a nervous static. And that is exactly when fundamental mistakes become fatal. The opponent kept stacking efficient plays, converting third downs, attacking matchups, and controlling the tempo. Philadelphia, on the other hand, was trying to force explosive plays to flip the momentum instantly, and that impatience only made things worse. Every possession that failed added more panic. Every penalty made the next snap feel heavier. Every miscommunication created more doubt. And when the final turnover landed in the opponent's hands, it almost felt like the team expected it. That is the worst sign a team can show, when mistakes feel inevitable. When the final whistle blew, the shock was not just about the scoreboard. It was about the realization of what this means for the season ahead. A loss like this shakes the foundation. It forces players and coaches to confront uncomfortable truths about discipline, execution, and mentality. You cannot thrive in the postseason with this level of inconsistency. You cannot hold leads in critical games if you cannot control the basic fundamentals. You cannot expect your defense to bail you out every week. At some point, the offense must carry its share of the weight. And in this game, when they needed to respond, they stalled. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. A curious murmur has begun to ripple through the league. A low-grade hum that started behind closed doors in Philadelphia and has now erupted into something far louder. Several voices inside the organization whisper that Nick Sirianni, usually composed and measured, finally reached his limit during an internal meeting and delivered a message that stunned everyone within earshot. According to those who claim to have witnessed the moment, The coach's tone shifted from frustration to certainty as he made it clear that someone is out of the Eagles' plans, and the identity of that figure has become the hottest rumor swirling around the team facility. No one has gone on record, and no official move has been announced. But the way players avoided eye contact afterward, the way staffers spoke in hushed tones in the corridors, and the sudden tightening of access around the team have only fueled speculation. Some insist it was a reaction to mounting tension, that Sirianni has grown tired of repeated lapses from a key member of the roster. Others claim it was more personal, the result of a buildup of disagreements that finally boiled over. Whatever the case, the message was sharp enough to send a jolt through the building. The rumor has already reached other locker rooms, where players are reportedly texting each other, trying to figure out who Sirianni targeted. A few insiders believe the coach has been pushing for a significant shakeup, something bold enough to reset the tone of the season. One staff member, speaking only on background, said the moment felt like a door slamming shut, though he wouldn't specify whose door. What makes everything even more intriguing is the silence coming from team leadership. No denial, no clarification, not even the usual soft-pedaled reassurance meant to calm the storm. That absence of commentary has become commentary in itself. For now, the only certainty is uncertainty. Sirianni may not have named names publicly, but the echo of his outburst has become impossible to ignore. The Eagles might insist business is proceeding as usual, yet the rumor continues to swell, fed by every glance, every pause, every careful non-answer. And until the truth emerges, the entire football world will keep leaning in, waiting to learn who has just been shown the door. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.